So this is Moss Park, home to 20,506 Toronto citizens running from Jarvis Street and Parliament Street south of Dundas, but also ranked first in per capita drug charges.
In my experience, I've never overdosed until the fentanyl came to Toronto.
So what is this exactly, if you don't mind?
Fentanyl.
Fentanyl?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a huge fentanyl problem right now, right? Like,
Yeah.
going around. I heard that they're lacing it with all kinds of...
Oh yeah,
right now.
everything's in it. Yeah, like,
Yeah, and they're lacing everything else
Yeah.
with fentanyl.
Yeah, when
right?
someone tells
so,
you they
like,
have
there's
heroin,
people dying because people are putting it in the blow and stuff like that. And actually, where was that? Belleville or something? Someone just died because their weed was laced with fentanyl.
the one thing you think would be safe, but I think something like if you were to get heroin on the street now, I think like 60% of it nowadays is fentanyl. So even if someone tells you it's a trusted person, it's more than likely fentanyl.
We opened up here in August. We just celebrated our 4-month anniversary recently, and I just remember the statistics. And when we opened up we had a celebration here last month for our 3 months. It was 93 overdoses reversed in 90 days, so we were pretty proud of that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so
Do you guys think that you are more...
saving lives. We definitely
more than
believe.
hospitals?
Oh, definitely. You know what? First of all, we care. We've shown the people here that live in this area, which are mostly drug users and homeless people, and they were actually surprised that we went to bat for them. To open up a site where they could safely use drugs without having to worry about losing their lives in the process. And because of this whole fentanyl epidemic, we've seen an increase in people going to the emergency rooms. However, they're not really logging the statistics about how many people are there for overdoses and how many are there for other injuries, right?
I noticed that a lot of people, if they're overdosing or something like that, they don't want to go to the hospital.
No, they don't want to. One of the reasons why, because our nearest hospital, which is in Mike, has they're very, they don't have a good policy when it comes to people who are unhealthy and people who use drugs. They treat them like shit. So as a result of that, people rather die before they go there.
It had an effect.
But this is what so we took the filters when people prepare their drugs, and we know the filter was only used one time.
Yeah.
And analyzed in the lab, so this person thought they were doing fentanyl.
Okay.
But there's like 4 different fentanyl analogs: heroin, cocaine, dex, and ketamine. All
And
that.
that's on the streets right now?
But even a bit of
It's not what's in here.
carfentanil. That's
Yeah.
the elephant tranquilizer.
Yeah. This one.
That can put out a fucking elephant. A couple of
So this was the cleanest sample we had: carfentanil and caffeine powder. Caffeine's very common, and that might explain why we're seeing people going like this.
Yeah.
They use fentanyl and then they bounce around, right?
I don't understand. I've seen it just actually. not
Well,
long
if there's a
ago.
whole whack of caffeine in there, maybe that's.
There is a serious epidemic going on, and the mayor was here with Kathleen when they saw the drug addicts shooting up. They sat with us here for an hour and a half. They asked us what the different problems and issues were. We told them, Vancouver's mayor told John Tory, be prepared, when fentanyl hits Toronto, you're gonna have a big problem on your hand. And there has been, and he's done nothing.
There's been a spike in overdoses in Toronto, and it's believed 6 people have died.
We've seen a rash of overdose deaths in the last week, 6 in fact. 4
If there's a single thing we can do to expedite something we're already doing, to bring in some new initiative, I just think we owe it to ourselves and to the people of the City of Toronto and to the victims to have that meeting and discuss what we could do.
I'm a nurse.
Are you?
I've responded to like a bunch of overdoses here, but I learned how to do that honestly like from peers, and peers are the ones who know how to do that. And so one of the big things is, so now the city's rolling out 3 safe injection sites, supervised injection sites. Like, you could look up and figure out how much it costs for the works to run theirs. Probably you could literally run like 8 of these in different parts of the city for the same amount it costs them to run theirs.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Frank was talking about it, but like people are intimidated to go to some of the other ones because it's just such a medicalized presence. So I think there's also just like, yeah, pushing Ontario to be open to models that are more like community driven, and that like, yeah, responding to overdoses is not rocket science. Like people in this community know how to do it better than medical professionals because they do it all the time.
You know, there were people with a drug problem, but there were still people who were loved and cared by the community, you know. Just because they're addicts doesn't mean that they had no life, no friends, no ties to, you know what I mean? They mattered.